Welcome back to my greenhouse diary. So it's August and it's been a little bit of a roller coaster this month. I've had quite a few issues and also a lot of success. So yeah, it's been very mixed. So let's have a look, see what's happening. It has dropped a lot in temperatures. We've had kind of a summer earlier this year in the UK. It was kind of May and June was so hot. So August, as you can see, I've got a jumper on today. It started off about 14 degrees this morning. It's now probably about 18. So actually the weather at the minute is really good for succulents. It's giving them that chance to kind of not cook, not get too overheated, and hopefully not burn as well. So I've had quite a few scorches this year. But yeah, I've had a lot of success as well. My seedlings are doing so well. My leaf props are thriving. I've got some really good stories of success as well, but I do have some failures as well. So I'm going to share them with you today. So let's start with an overview. We've got the top shelf is all done now. Like the whole greenhouse has been rearranged. I've recorded every part of that video that will be coming live over the next month or so. I think part 1 is already live and possibly part 2 by the time this goes up. But yeah, the top shelf is just looking so good. I haven't really watered a lot. I've only probably done maybe 20 this month. I'm just a little bit nervous because I've had quite a few rot and I've got a little bit of a story behind what I think is happening. But yeah, so far my beautiful burnt one is now growing out finally. Poor little thing got burnt last year and burnt this year, so it's now been moved down to this shelf permanently. But yeah, so some of them which I thought were looking quite bad are now starting to thrive. Some of my recently imported ones, like this one at the front, the bouquet here, has had some water, so that's now plumped up nicely, which means I have leaf propped it. So what I'm continuing to do this year is anything that is being watered and plumping up, I'm leaf propping as kind of insurance policy for that succulent, because I do not want to lose any. But obviously when you've got quite a few succulents, there's always going to be some losses. So one of my success stories this month is this beautiful variegated Lola. So I head chopped this and I say a success story. I head chopped it and it had about 3 pups grow, and I was so excited. They were all variegated ones. However, unfortunately, they were burnt. So they were left on kind of a lower level shelf in my other greenhouse. So quite far back. So it's not normally a place that would burn, but unfortunately the sun must have just cooked it that day and got through there. So they didn't survive, but I'm saying it's a success because the head lives on. This is now rerooting really nicely. I'm not sure if you can see the roots in there, but it's rerooting. So this has survived. So the risk of me chopping this unfortunately didn't pay off with regards to pups, but it is a surviving head and it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm really happy that that is okay. Obviously gutted about the pups, but it happens. It's just one of those things with head chops. It's a bit of a risk, I suppose. But everything else is looking amazing. Over this side is probably a bit more recently watered. These are my thirsty ones, so they get a little bit more water up this end. You probably can see lots of green labels, which is not looking great, but I have a little bit of a story behind those. So at the start of the year, I made a decision to change all of my pots to these white ones, which I think I've discussed in other videos before, and that was mainly because of space reasons and the look of them. I just think they look really good with the top dressing, and it really makes the colours pop. I was a little bit I was just bored of the terracotta pots, and I was feeling that when I've got this John Innes #2 soil, the molar clay and the terracotta pots, I think the succulent soil was drying out really too quickly, so they didn't really get a chance to soak up the water, so they weren't plumping as much as they should have done, which means they were then being watered more, and that was leading to a little bit of rot. So it's a very strange kind of combination, but yeah, I just wasn't overly happy with that kind of combination anymore, and I'd had that for 5 years with my collection, so I thought it's time I changed over. I'm going to just try something different. So I was hoping that these little white pots would hold a little bit more moisture in the soil, let the succulents have that time to soak it up, but because of that I added more grit to them, so that's doing really well. But the mistake that I think I've made is that instead of using John Innes, I used just a standard multi-purpose compost, which I have now found out contains a lot of bark and a lot of organic matter, which really isn't good for succulents. It can kind of suffocate their roots, so it holds on to moisture for long periods of time, whereas the Johninus is quite fine and not sandy, but it's just very kind of dust-like when it dries out. Whereas the compost, even though it dries, it kind of stays together and clumps. So unfortunately, I did repot my whole collection. It took a very long time to do. Obviously, with these pots changing over, that was kind of I wanted to get it done quickly, so I didn't do it in stages. I kind of rushed to get it all done because I wanted it to look nice and uniform. However, that does mean that most of this, I think it's nearly 600 I have now, most of them are in this compost mixture. With grits, they have got a lot of grit in there, so some of them it's working well for. I'm just really paranoid now because I've had quite a few issues. Probably the months previously, on the last video, probably shared these, where when it was really hot, the compost and the pot was holding on to too much kind of moisture, which was making the soil really humid. And succulents hate humidity, they just do not do well in it at all. That's what causes rot. So I've had a few which I've only watered like once and they have rotted, unfortunately, but most of them have lived on through head chops or leaf props, so that's a bonus with it. And it really is key to keep an eye on your succulents, and if you see one that looks a little bit suspicious, if in doubt, just chop it and leaf prop it as well, because they should then live on. Obviously, if it's too late and the rot has hit the crown, then unfortunately there's not much you can do. But because of that and the issues I've seen, I have now restarted or started repotting my collection again. So I've started with my variegated ones, so I've done them all. All the variegated ones are now back in a mixture of Johninus and some grit. So I wanted to get some pumice. I've heard that pumice is really good because it has some minerals in it which feeds them, and it kind of draws the moisture into the pumice rather than into the soil. So I've heard that's quite a good thing, but I can't get my hands on anything which is a reasonable price. So if you have any pumice or you buy pumice, let me know where you get it from. Does it work for you? Do you like it? The other alternative I was going to look at was perlite, but I used that, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I found that it kind of just floats to the top. It looks very much like a mealie, so it really worries me, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. So I'm sticking at the minute with a mixture of the Johninus number 2 and the horticultural grit, and just making sure it's 50-50. And that seems to be working really well, but like I said, I haven't got all of my collection repotted yet. I'm not in a major rush to do so because you can repot throughout the year and into winter. So if something needs water, I'm repotting it and then watering it 5 days after or something like that. And that's how I'm kind of playing it. So all these green labels were ones that I have repotted into the Johninus, but at the minute I have now succeeded in doing all the variegated ones. So I can remove the labels soon. So that's kind of the story behind what I've got going on at the minute, but I'm not in a major rush to do them all because it's going to take me quite some time. I was like, right, I'll do 10 a day, but yeah, that's still going to take me like 50-60 days. So yeah, it's a big job, but it's not something I need to rush and do. So I thought what I would do, like I said, is just repot them before I water them, so they've got that new fresh soil, and it actually gives me a bit of a chance to have a look at the roots again and just see how they're getting on, because this year has been kind of really tough for the heat for them. It's been really intense, and I've put extra shade netting up. I've also had some shade netting which I just lay over them, especially the variegated ones, because they're a lot more sensitive to the sunlight and they can burn a lot easier than others. So yeah, I just kind of throw over another 80% shade netting on days which are very, very intense. So yeah, that's the update, and that's why we have all these green tags, and they probably look a bit messy, but it's just so I can remember what I'm doing, really. So yeah, that's the update with the compost and the soil. So I've also had quite a few challenges recently. So if you would have seen one of my hauls, probably May, June time, I ordered quite a big order from Xplant, which is the company based in South Korea. And I had lots of variegated ones, lots of non-variegated, just a really nice batch of beautiful succulents. And in the first batch I had one which had rotted. Luckily I did manage to save it. It was a variegated chimera, which is this beauty. It was massive when it arrived, absolutely massive. So if you've seen my video on that, you would have seen that it came with very mushy yellow leaves in the middle. So I removed those, and luckily it had a really long stem. So I chopped the stem at the bottom, chopped out the middle section and removed loads of leaves. I'm just going to chuck those leaves down there. So the head, this is the head, it lives on, it's rooting. I'm actually going to offer it some water soon because that is quite, if I try and pull it, you can see that it is gripping onto the soil. So that's a really good indicator of when you can water them. So like I say, I received this in May and it's now August and I haven't watered it. So I just like with my succulents when I get them to make sure they have kind of got quite a good root system before I offer them a drink. And I also make sure that they need one as well. You don't just have to water because they're a plant, just wait until they ask for it. So this one is really, really squishy. So the leaves are not firm at all. They've got lots of give to them. So that one needs a drink. So I'm actually going to put that on the side so I remember to do it. And also when I chopped that, I kept the bottom of the stem, which is this. So it's the most random thing I've ever seen. But it's a non-rooted stem which has grown 3 pups. So I don't think they're variegated, but I'm really impressed with this. I think, well, you've rotted in the middle, your head is saved and rooting on nicely, and you've given me 3 pups, and I've got leaf props. So although it came rotted, it has lived on, so I'm so pleased with that. And it's really rare that happens. Normally, you know, if it's rotten on arrival, that's it, there's nothing you can do. But this does live on, so that is a success story. However, I've got quite a few challenges from that order and from the order I did 3 weeks after as well. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because of the chemicals that get sprayed onto them. Obviously they have to do that for the legalities in the UK to import them. But I think what maybe has happened is they're not drying out enough before being shipped. So any kind of moisture that may be sitting against the stem is getting into the plant and causing rot. But it's only coming out 2-3 months later when they're sitting in my collection. So I do not water anything until, like I say, they have a really good root system. So it was only this week I did the first lot of watering, and that was only on probably about 5 of them, and they were like quite desperate. So yeah, it's really disappointing because it's not something that I've done. It's not that they're sitting here in, you know, wet soil or anything like that. They are just sitting here rooting, getting lots of shade when they need it. It's really good airflow in here. The fan's on, we've got the windows open, the doors open 24 hours a day. Like, it's not anything to do with the conditions that I'm keeping them in. I think it is just that rot or the moisture that may have been on the plant during the shipping process has just penetrated the stem, and slowly over time it has rotted. So let me show you the disasters that we've had. So this is now my variegated Black Prince. It came and looked stunning. Now this is what is left. So I have chopped it, and I wasn't 100% if I was meant to do that because it just was giving me very mixed signals. Like the leaves are very firm. It's not mushy. There are some black specks which shows rot usually, but I just didn't want to risk it because it's variegated. You know, it's a lot harder to come by. So I've chopped it and I've dibbed. I have added some flowers of sulphur to the stem there, and I've also kept the stem. So this is the stem, and it's obviously got that flowers of sulphur on, but the leaves are still dwindling off there. So it's really strange. Like, I repotted this 2 weeks ago, and then this week it looks like this. So when I repotted it, it has a really good root system forming. You can see the roots kind of there, and they're all below as well. So it's not obvious that there's rot in there. I think the rot from a lot of these is in the middle of the plant rather than the bottom. It's not like it's root rot, it's more like stem rot from maybe not drying out enough. So I'm so disappointed because that was an absolute beauty, and I'm hoping it survives, but I'm just not very positive on that one anyway. So yeah, wish me luck, and hopefully next month I can show you a positive update on that one. The other one, which is actually looking worse by the day, is this variegated elegans. I love this, or loved this, but you can see the rot is probably getting into the very centre there. So I chopped it and I put flowers of sulphur on it, and I've left it outside, so it's getting really good airflow because that helps with rot as well. But I just don't know if it's too late for this one. It's probably too early to tell, but it does look a little bit worse now than it did, and I'll show you the stem as well. And this is what is left from the stem. So yeah, it was definitely stem rot, but like I say, I didn't water it. It was in a very dry, gritty mixture. But yeah, the rot has got in there and probably travelled up into the crown. So unfortunately, I don't know if that one's going to make it, which is really annoying because it's so beautiful. It's not one that I've seen like for a long time. So yeah, that's not been a very good story at all. And I've also had the same with my Dusty Rose variegated. What else? One called Eclipse. They seem to have like it looks a bit like a fungus on some of them, like it shows on the leaves before it shows on the stem. So my Dusty Rose I chopped, the head started to kind of reroot a little bit and then just kind of gave in and gave up on life really. The stem had loads and loads of pups, so I thought, oh, this is brilliant, like the stem is going to live on. But then all of a sudden that rotted as well. So yeah, obviously the rot had gotten too much into that stem. The same with the Eclipse, it's done the same, but I have got one leaf prop surviving from that. So when they're non-variegated, obviously there is a higher chance of survival through leaf prop, and that is happening with my Eclipse, so hopefully that will live on as well. And I've had the same with my Galaxy, so I'll insert all the pictures of what they look like on arrival so you can see them. But yeah, it's really disappointing, and I've come into the greenhouse in the evening to enjoy them and I've seen issues and I just get so frustrated because I take such care of them. And I'm really particular about when I water them, so it's not like I'm giving them too much water because I've learned over the years not to do that. But yeah, they're rotting anyway, so I have contacted Explant and just explained what's happened, but there's not much they can do. It's I suppose a risk of importing them. That's the risk that you choose to take when you import the plants. So that's what I'm looking at it like. But it's frustrating. I love them, and obviously I ordered them from overseas because they are harder to get, and yeah, they're just a bit more special. But yeah, every loss I take very personally, but I'm trying not to let it get me down too much. But anyway, let's move on to something more positive. Let's look at the successes we've had for this month. So let's take a look at my seedlings and my leaf props because they are absolutely thriving and I'm so happy. So I've moved a couple of trays over into this greenhouse of my seedlings once I had repotted them. This tray is quite small still, but the ones at the front here are doing so well. These are my Strictifloras. So this is something that I've had before and it rotted, so I was like, right, I'm going to grow as many as I can. And they are doing really well. They're so beautiful. You can see the edging on them already. They're starting to get some really nice colours. And I've changed the watering schedule to once every 3 days for these because they are in quite a big cell really for the size of them. So they probably could have gone into a smaller cell tray, but I didn't have any and I was getting impatient. So yes, that is what they are in at the minute. This is one of my other trays. Again, I think the cells are a little bit big for them, but they will grow into them. It's fine. I just need to make sure I'm not watering too much. These are my other ones in my growing greenhouse and they are looking amazing. They are really big, really doing well. And then these are some of the smaller ones. So they're doing really well. And as you can see, these absolute monsters at the front end are desperate to come out of here. I've got trays of leaf props, more seedlings, leaf props, more seedlings. You can see there's obviously lots of holes where I've plucked out the bigger ones. So I'm hoping I can kind of get these potted on by the end of the season because I don't want to have lots of spaces which I've got at the minute because it is a kind of a waste of a tray space. And then we've got some pups which are doing really well, more leaf props. Leaf props this year are just amazing. The process I'm following is working really, really well. So yeah, I'm really enjoying seeing them grow nice and quickly. And it just means that when they grow to this size, another tray down here, they get potted on into the next tray a lot quicker, which is amazing. So this is the next tray along which I've potted them into and they're just growing so well. So these are leaf props from this year and they're a really, really good size. So very happy with those. So like I mentioned, I didn't have the cell tray I really wanted. So what I start with any seedling is a 264 cell, I think it is, which is tiny. It's really, really small. So there's a lot of succulent seedlings you get in there. And then when I was going up to the next level, I have a 200, but I use that more for leaf props and I wasn't using that for seedlings because seedlings, when I pot them on, have got quite a big head, but the root system's quite small. So I was kind of using the size of the head to determine whether they need to be repotted or not, which I think isn't an error, but it's not the most efficient and best way to do it. So these trays in here are either 74 or 102. I've got a mixture of the both. However, I have found this, which is a 124 cell seed tray. So this is what I'm going to be doing today, is potting on some of my seedlings from my 264 into 124. If these numbers are wrong, I'm sorry. They're similar to what I'm saying anyway. So yeah, I got this a 10 pack off Temu, favourite shop ever. They're just so good. They're not the best quality. They are quite flimsy compared to other trays I've had before, but obviously when I hold it, it's fine like this. But when you put lots of soil in, it can be quite well, I don't know if it's flimsy is the word, but flimsier than I've had. So some of them actually come with trays, which are brilliant. And then when they've got the tray, there's no risk of dropping it at all. But yeah, at the minute, I've got 10 of these. So I'm going to get started on some of my little tiny seedlings. And I also treated myself to some new little tweezers. So these are amazing for getting the seedlings out of the soil with the roots all intact. Because you just want to make sure you're not touching the roots too much and interfering with them, because obviously they're doing a nice job. So yeah, I've got some nice new tweezers. So let's get into it. Let's get repotting. Just found the tray. So this is the tray that doesn't actually come with this size. It comes with a 200 and it's also shipped by land from Temu. So it took a month and a half to get here. However, I got 10 of those, so I could just use them as and when I need to for these, but it just makes them so much sturdier. It's really, really good. So yeah, it's just, I think Temu is half or even a third of the price of Amazon and places. So this is the tray I'm focusing on right now. So as you can see, it's very varied. These were all put in at the same time. We've got lots of different hybrids from my heart's choice. I have no idea what they were hybridized with. Some are quite leggy and quite long, but down this end you can see these are really, really big. So the rule that I follow is once they have reached the size of the cell or bigger, it's time to repot them. So it does mean you get a lot of gaps and things within the cells, which is quite annoying, obviously, when you're trying to save space. But if you look at the size of these, they are huge, especially these ones here. These ones, excitingly, are some Lowy hybrids. So I'm so excited to see them grow. They are looking really interesting shape already. And then down the far end, we've got some, I think that's a longissima. These ones are, oh, I don't know what they are, but they've got some nice edging on the leaves. So yeah, that's what I'm going to concentrate on today. Anything smaller which isn't filling up the cell is going to stay in here. But what I have noticed is it's quite a good idea to go on to, like I say, a cell which is a little bit smaller than what I've been doing. And apparently because the root size can then double, it will make the plant grow a lot quicker as well. So I'm really interested to see over the next month or so how quick these ones actually grow, because they're a really decent size already. But let's do it. Let's pot them on. So I've done what I wanted on this tray at the minute. This is what they look like. They look so much more comfortable on there. Some of them are still huge, but it just gives the root space to grow and kind of double in size really. And then hopefully they'll grow nice and quickly and can go up to the next size. So it's just kind of a better way of doing it. So I'm finding out anyway, than going straight up to the bigger size, because it can actually stall them if you go too big, because the roots get a little bit lost and they stall growing because they're kind of a little bit frightened, I suppose, to stretch their legs. So this is the next task I've got. So these are all pups. So any head chops I've had from this year and last year, I am taking the pups off once they've had a good drink and just putting them in this tray. So this tray is this is a 200 cell tray. So it's a little bit bigger than what you've just seen the seedlings come from. But as you can see, they are huge, but they are pups. So what I've been doing is just leaving them in here and watering them probably once every 3 days. It has been quite warm-ish at the minute, so they've been growing quite nicely. You can see some of the roots kind of popping out of the tray there. So yeah, they get a really good root system in this tray, and then I want to move them on into one of these 124 trays as well. So these ones at this end have been in there longer, so they've got quite a lot of roots and they kind of grow and then push themselves out. So I just want to, yeah, get them into a bigger cell, have a look at them, because yeah, they just kind of jump out of here. But they're doing really well. Some of the ones up this end are quite recently planted, so they look all kind of really healthy at the minute. So what they do is they look nice and plump. Then as they create their roots, they kind of not dwindle off, but they go quite thirsty looking, look a bit depleted, and then obviously when they are ready to suck up the water from the new root system that they've grown, they look really good again. So it's kind of, they look worse before they look better. So that's one of the trays which I need to work on, and the other this side. So head chops, although people seem to be quite negative about them when I when I show them, like, why are you doing that to your plant kind of thing, they create so many pups, and it's how I get my succulents to live on. So as you can see, I've got some nice variegated ones. This Tinkerbell is gorgeous. I absolutely love the variegated part on that. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, it's really worth doing, and I absolutely love it. So that's another task for me today, is just to go through my head chops and my props and just see what I need to remove. So they sit all over here and under here. So what I've been doing is just having a look at them to see if there's anything which has got quite a good size, and then I water it and move it over here and then I'm ready to remove the pups once they've kind of plumped up really. So this one I don't even know where to start. It's a topsy-turvy, but it's obviously just gone absolutely nuts. There are so many pups on there, so I just need to try and remove some, give it a little bit of room. This one's not plumped up as much as I'd like, so I'll probably water that one again. This is my Beyonce with lots of pups on it. They're not huge, but it's a really good time of the year to get them potted on and get them rooting before winter starts. This is my Osmentus, which is a really nice caruncled frilly, so that's ready to be removed off there, and lots over here as well. So I'm just trying to do, I don't know, 5 a day or something throughout the month, and just get them potted on so they can start to root and yeah, form and become a plant of their own. So something else I'm really excited about this month is a pollination I've been trying to do on one of my absolutely favourite Echeverias. So that is my beautiful Echeveria Canty. So I have actually filmed a separate video for this of the kind of the whole process of how I've tried to do it, because this beauty is in bloom, and actually I need to be very careful with, because I think I've had some success. So I've tried to hybridize it with a Lawlensis, which is something I find works really well. Lawlensis makes beautiful hybrids, and I absolutely love it. It's a really beautiful plant, as is Canty. So they were kind of my only two which were in bloom at the same time. Because it's later on in the season, I get lots of blooms at the start of like spring really. So there's not that many blooms left. I have got some new ones coming now typically, but obviously you just got to go with what is in bloom at that stage. And yeah, I had two really beautiful ones. So I just did 2 buds as a hybrid, and the other ones I just kind of tickled with, I always say tickled, that's not the right terminology, but that's what I say. I tickled them with Canty, so if I can get some Canty seeds, that would be like a best worst case scenario. So recently, or the last 3 days, I've harvested the seeds. I'm not convinced they are all seeds, but there's definitely some seeds in there, and I've actually sown them, so they're now growing. So hopefully next month, in my September diaries, I'll be able to give you a really good update of that, because if I can make some Canty hybrids, I would be absolutely over the moon, because Canty is quite a hard one to hybridize apparently. So it may be just luck, which is definitely what it is, because I'm no expert. I have been doing it for 5 years, so I know what I'm doing, but it's just one of the things, it's just nature, isn't it? I get the paintbrush and I do the pollinating and try to make it work, and then nature has to do the rest. So definitely a little bit of luck involved. But yeah, it looks really successful. I've got a few here which are still looking like seeds are forming, so I cannot wait to see when they start to germinate. And well, I say when, if, but when, because I'm a very positive person and it will happen. So yeah, that is my Canty. And then I've got 2 other things which I want to show you as a kind of a highlight for the month. And that is, one of them, my humongous amount of seedlings. So these are doing so well. I've got some more indoors as well, which I'm just leaving inside at the minute while I make some space. But yeah, these are doing so well. Like, these ones need to be pricked out soon. They're not big enough to go into the next kind of size, but they're so overcrowded. They probably just need a little bit of a room in there. But yeah, these are watered usually once a day, but if it's a little bit cooler, once every other day. But they're just doing so well, so I'm really pleased with my seeds this year. They are just, yeah, absolutely thriving, and I think now the temperature's dropped, they are doing that a little bit better as well. And then, like I've mentioned, my other seedlings are growing so well, so they get a second mention because I'm just so pleased with them. I think in previous years I just wasn't watering them enough, and they were kind of drying out and, yeah, having too much intense sun with, yeah, a lack of moisture really. So I'm so pleased this year with my seedlings, and lots of them are my own hybrids, so I'm just even more excited than ever to see how they turn out. And another job I'm trying to do once a week or once every other week is just check my leaf props. So what I'm doing is, once I've watered the plants, I am taking off some leaves and putting them in these little pots. I've got quite a few in my other greenhouse as well. What I do is wait until they have produced a pup or a root, and then I transplant them into a cell tray, which is quite small, so the 264 or the 200 works really well. And then I water them daily, and just, yeah, giving them that extra water consistently throughout this kind of hotter season, it's just working so well. They are really, really thriving, whereas I used to probably neglect them, thinking, oh, they've got the energy they need from that plant, from that leaf, but they do need that extra bit of moisture to get them growing quicker. It does make such a difference. I've really, really noticed that this year, and I'm so pleased with the growth that we've had. And then something else I need to do today is advertise my sale. So every week on my Facebook page I have a sale of anything which I'm not keeping for my own collection, so any duplicates I have get put into a sale, and like I say, that happens once a week. So I have 3 different kind of sets which I rotate every other week, and yeah, so I watered is this set which are for sale this week, so let me just give you a little glimpse of. So I watered these on Wednesday, so 2 days ago now, and they are looking beautiful. So if you're in the UK and you are looking for any succulents, please check out my Facebook sales. They are, yeah, every Sunday, and I've got lots of different ones which are being offered. Not all of these will go into the sale because some of them aren't quite up to my standards, but they are growing really nicely, and some of them are a little bit burned, so that probably won't go into the sale either. I like mine to be beautiful and perfect before they're sold, and then these are the next couple of weeks, so I've got lots of gaps where I sold a few last week and over there. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing next. So this is the reality of a working greenhouse. So like I have probably mentioned before, I've got a little girl. She's actually 2 soon, so she does nap in the afternoons for an hour or so, and that's when I get to do my succulent stuff. Obviously I have the evenings, but with a toddler, by the end of the day I just want to go to bed. So I don't always do stuff in the evenings as much as I should, but because I obviously come in here and I kind of rush to get things done, I make a complete mess. So today is also a day to just kind of tidy this all up. I've got a little outside hoover thing I use, and it's just the quickest way to get all this mess tidied, because yeah, I obviously just I'm not sure if you would have seen me just potting on the seedlings. I had a little table here which I got from Temu of like £12 or something, so I have the end potting table, but this one is a little bit higher and I can get kind of 2 trays on it, and I find it a lot easier that way to do that. So I kind of use it and I just sweep everything onto the floor. So it's time to clean. I need to stop being so messy. And what a difference a little hoover makes. So much better. I do need to start keeping this end a bit more organised, but that's a job for another day. And 2 greenhouses means 2 lots to tidy as well. So yeah, I'm just going to give this a hoover. As you can see, there's all sorts of dead leaves and things on the floor. I've lazily been just chucking about, but because I've done my greenhouse rearrange recently, check out those videos if you'd like to have a look. It is actually pretty tidy on the shelves in here. I've got lots of room for my seedlings, so yeah, I am actually quite organised. It's just the floor needs a little bit of TLC. Obviously got some broken pots down here, and yeah, like I say, leaves everywhere. And also once a month I like to just check my arrangements, make sure they're looking okay outside, and leaf prop them if it has been raining. I haven't actually had any rain now for about 10 days, so they are actually thirsty already, but they are looking really colourful and really beautiful. I think this is one of my favourites this year with the transformation. I'll insert a picture from back in April, I think, when I kind of put it together again. It's just, yeah, loves being outside. It loves the, sorry, incoming cat. It loves the airflow, it loves the sun, and it loves getting the rain as well. So yeah, very colourful. Oh my goodness, sorry about her. Noisy cat. And this one as well is just ginormous. This is my ghost plant, and yeah, just thrives being outside. Got lots of alpenglow in here, some Dali sunshine, some Adolphi, just lots of different colourful ones. And then I've head chopped some in the middle, and they're all doing really well. And yeah, it's kind of thriving. It's neglected, but thriving. Succulents love to be neglected. For the next month or so, I'm just going to be concentrating on repotting all of my smaller succulents, so my seedlings, my leaf props, and any pups as well, because with winter kind of, I say looming, it is August, but I need to be aware that it's coming. And the kind of thought through winter in the UK for me is always just to keep the roots nice and healthy on the plants. Like, I'm not going to get a lot of growth because the temperature's dropped right down. It's always quite humid. I am hoping to take a lot of my succulents or the seedlings and props inside and maybe put them in the garage under some grow lights, just to keep them kind of ticking over really. It's the health of the roots I'm going to focus on for the winter, just to get them through the winter and back into the growing season again next year. I don't expect much growth to any growth over the winter period for those little ones because they will go dormant, but I'm just hoping with the indoor conditions it might be just that little bit of extra kind of TLC they need to survive really. It's just I don't want to lose all of the hard work throughout the winter. So yeah, like I say, this month I'm just going to spend time kind of repotting on any small seedlings and any tiny little baby ones as well. Anything that just needs to go up that extra size to kind of grow some bigger and healthier roots really. So that's it for August. I really hope you've enjoyed the video and have enjoyed following along with me for kind of a day in the greenhouse and all the tasks and things that I've accomplished this month. I hope it's been good to see, and I'd love to hear what you've been up to this month. What's worked for you, what hasn't? Do you have any suggestions on anything I've been doing, anything that I could improve on? Or yeah, any questions at all, please do let me know. I'm going to put out a kind of a beg now because I'm getting quite a lot of views on my channel, but I'm not getting as many subscribers as are viewing. So if you are enjoying my videos and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. It means the absolute world to me. It does so much for my channel, and even if you just want to give a like to the video, it takes a second just to press like and it gets my videos seen by so many more people, which I really appreciate. I just want to share tips and experience and kind of build a community with other people who enjoy the hobby as well. So thank you so much for watching. If you've got any questions, please let me know, and if not, I will see you next time for another Greenhouse Diary.